Good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever timeline you guys are on. So, in this particular course, what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be doing a Terraform, an hands-on beginners project for Terraform. Now, this course is going to be very, very simple. It's going to be very, very easy, straightforward. What we're going to be doing in this course is that we're going to be deploying two resources, which is going to be two subnets, private subnets onto AWS. Now, what is the reason for doing this particular course? Why are we deploying two subnets to AWS? Now, the reason for that is because I want a beginner friendly. Now, I've been seeing most of these beginner courses for Terraform on YouTube, but then they're a bit complicated. They say it's beginner, but it's complicated, which is why I decided to do this course. Now, it's a very, very simple course, very, very hands-on course. It's simple, straight to the point. You do the basic things and all that. Make sure that you have a AWS account, and you make sure that you have Terraform installed, which I will show you later in this course. So let's head on over to our laptop. Let's see what we can do. Hello guys, so for this tutorial I'll be showing you guys every single thing that you need to download for your Terraform to work. Now, this is very, very necessary. So first of all, we're going to head over to our Microsoft Edge, which is my browser for this tutorial. So head over to this URL. I'm sure it will be very easy for you guys to locate. So head over to this URL and then download Terraform. I'm using Windows, so I'll basically go for this AMD. If you know, maybe if you're using Linux or you're using Mac, then I think there are other. Okay, you can download this one or this one. I don't know, but you can browse for your own operating system. But I'm using Windows, so I'll urge you to download this one, and I've already downloaded it, so there's no need for me to download it. Then we are going to head over to our VS Code. Now head over to the extension panel. It's right here, so head over to it, and then I've already installed. You install this, so if this doesn't actually pop up here, so you can just search for it, say Terraform, and to search for it. So as you can see, it appeared here, and I'm downloading this one. I'll go with this one. I don't really know about this one, but I'll go with this one. So I've already installed it, so there is no need for me to install it again. So as you can see, I've already installed it. And then one last thing, head over to AWS Toolkit. AWS Toolkit. Okay, here is it. Download this one. I've already downloaded it, and as you're done downloading it, this will pop up. So how you know that this thing is installed is from here. So as we are done, I think as you're done downloading, this should pop up immediately, and then head over to that place. Okay, so as you have headed on to this, AWS panel in this VS Code, the first thing we are going to do is that we're going to create a file. We're going to create the file named provided.tf, as I've done here. Now, this particular file is responsible for telling the Terraform modules where to deploy the resources. So as you can see here, we will create Terraform. We say required providers, AWS. We are telling Terraform that you're going to deploy the resources to AWS, and you're also going to say that you're also deploying these resources to this particular region named this EU North 1. I don't know why I like this region. I just love deploying my things to this region because this region is quite advanced and I love it. And you can also specify, I think I should remove this, but no, wait, I think I'll keep this. But you can remove this version as it will use the newer version. So we are going to tell as you can see, I noted here, change this to your preferred region. So if you don't use this particular region, please change this to, you can change it to EU West, you can change it to any particular region that you mostly use, but I mostly use EU North. So you can, so if you can join me and use it if you don't want to use it. So this particular file is just responsible for telling the Terraform where you deploy which cloud provider that you should use. So I'm using AWS. We're going to write #corp/AWS with the region and everything. Then we're going to tell it the provider, which is AWS. We're going to specify this region right here. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to also come over here to the main.tf, right? So we're going to come over here to this main.tf, and we're going to tell it the resources. In this particular place, we're going to be telling it the resources, or where it should be deploying the resources to. So first of all, we said that we're going to write AWS. I only have one VPC here, so we're going to write AWS VPC. We're telling it that we want to use, this is going to be for the VPC, and then this is going to be the VPC ID, which is, we all know that this is where you use to attach your subnet. I told you that in this tutorial we're going to be creating 2 subnets, and we're going to be we are going to be deploying the 2 subnets in our AWS in this particular region, which is the EU North. So this is going to be the VPC ID. This is going to be, I only have one VPC, so I can write existing here. If you have to, then you have to find a way to specify that you have to find a way to specify that VPC. So in this we're going to say this is going to be the VPC ID, and then resources then, which is going to be the subnet. So this is going to be this AWS subnet. This is the resource that we're going to be deploying to AWS. I'm going to name it private subnet 5, right? And then for this VPC, remember that you're not allowed to hard code your VPC ID or any credential. That is very important. You're not allowed to hard code it, because to give you an error when we're running the Terraform plan. So we are going to say that we are going to collect this, you get this information from here, which is why I call it data.awsvpc.existing.id, as you can see here. And then we're going to also specify the CIDR block. I think I'll make a tutorial on how to calculate CIDR block, because I find it very, very difficult. Then we're going to tell it that we're deploying this subnet to this particular region, this availability zone right here. We're going to be deploying this to the availability zone, which is the EU North /1A. Sorry, I'm not really good at naming all these things. So the tags, we're going to name it private subnet 1, right? Then we're also going to create another one. I thought we were going to be creating 2 subnets in the beginning of this video. So we're also going to give it private subnet 6, right? Along with the same VPC, because we are going to be attaching both these subnets to the VPC ID, and then with the CIDR block. This one was 5. We're going to name it, we're going to put this one to 6, right, with the same availability zone, and we're going to have the tags and all that, which is going to be the name actually. So let's run it. So first of all, we'll run Terraform initialize. I've already initialized my own Terraform. Okay, well, let me change. I'm using Bluetooth, so let me use a hotspot. I hope you guys can. Okay, I'm going to be using a hotspot so that this thing can go very fast. Very fast. So I'm going to be using my phone to hotspot my laptop. Okay, it's connected, so let's go. So we're going to run Terraform init. Make sure that you have added your credentials. As you already know, I've added my credentials over here. If you want to know how to add your credentials, just go to view. As this thing is running, so let's just go to view. Okay, it's already done, so let's just go to view to see how to add your credentials. You must do this initially. This should actually be the first step you should take. So you say AWS, as you can see, mine already appeared here, but you can just write AWS create credentials, and to apply it to appear here. sorry, it is capital letter, create credentials. You can type it if yours doesn't display here. You can type it, create credentials, and then you put in the name of your profile, and then after you press enter, it should take you to where you put your secret key. It will take you to where you put your access key and your region. So I've already done mine, so I don't need to do all this. So I'm gonna cancel. I'm gonna go back. So we have already run our Terraform init. So the next thing, and it worked successfully. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to write Terraform plan. Mind you that I'm running this command in the directory in which my Terraform tutorial is. So I'm running this in the directory in which my Terraform file is. So I'm going to run Terraform plan, and then it will give me a sort of load down. Let me increase this so you guys can see very well. And then to give me a sort of load or sort of information on how to deploy the resources and everything. So let's just wait for this to load. It's planning on how to deploy my private subnets, these two private subnets on the AWS. As you can see, it has already planned everything. Okay, so it has already specified everything and it's needed, and along with my VPC ID, as you can see, to plan, it says here 2 to add, 0 to change, and 0 to destroy. And stay tuned, because in this tutorial I'll also show you how to, after we're done deploying all this, I'm also going to show you how to destroy it or to remove it with just one command. So it's done planning. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say Terraform apply right here. I told you that this tutorial is going to be simple. I'm not going to add any complex things or any complex resources and all that, because I just want to show you guys just a lowdown on a simple way on how to deploy, how to use Terraform to deploy your resources on AWS, or to create your resources, or should I say to create your infrastructure on AWS. That's why it's called IAC, which is infrastructure as code. We are creating an infrastructure with just mainly codes. Okay, so it asked me here, do you want to perform these actions? Okay, yes. They want to say yes. Very, very simple. That's why I love working with Terraform. Terraform is so easy, and it helps me create infrastructures with just simple commands, and it's very, very simple. So as you can see, it is done here. It's done, it's created. So let's check it out on my AWS to see if everything is done, created. So initially I had 4 subnets right here, but if I load, after we're done creating the subnets, if I actually load, you see that I have 6. Oh wow, okay, I have 6, which here is the private subnet 2 and the private subnet 1, which shows that it was successful. And now stay tuned, because I'll show you how to delete these resources with just one command. Okay, so now as you guys have seen, we have created the infrastructure that we needed to create. We have my private subnets, we have created the subnets. Now what if we want to destroy it? What if we want to remove these resources from here? Maybe we are done doing everything we need to do and we need to remove these resources. How do we do it? How do we go about it? Let me show you. So it's very, very simple. With just one command line we can do that. So by pressing Terraform, as you can see, I'm writing it down in that same directory. Terraform destroy. Okay, so let's go. So it's loading. After it's done, it should remove these resources from there. Okay, so So it's refreshing the states and all that. Now, one thing I love about Terraform is that you can just automatically do everything you need to do without going on the console, clicking around, all that boring stuff. You have to be wasting a lot of data. You can just do it right from your command line. You can just automate everything. So it asks me here, Terraform will destroy all your managed infrastructures and blah blah blah. Do you want to? Automatically, yes. Let's just press yes, and it will do that. So as I was saying, Terraform is so sweet and so easy to use. Like when I started using this thing back then, it was so sweet and so simple. Like I don't really have to struggle, just do everything. And most companies have you don't really have to cram all this. Most companies have the notes for all these particular things, so you can just if you can log in, they mostly create a note or a file for where they store all the information. So if you can, most companies they will give you access to it, so you can copy that and then you just paste the resources there and all that, everything. Thank you. So let's check if those two subnets has been destroyed. Let's check if they have been destroyed. It's loading. As you can see, 4. Before it was 6, but now it's 4 because we have destroyed the remaining subnets. And that is it. That's why Terraform is so simple. And so now stay tuned for more of my courses, because these courses, like more of my advanced one, because this is too simple, right? Companies will not just hire you to do these basic amenities. So I'll be releasing a course on advanced creating new resources. We're going to be working with databases. We're going to be working with Docker containers and all that. So stay tuned for that course, because we'll be using Terraform, infrastructure as code. We'll be using CI/CD. We'll automate the whole thing, and I'll be dropping that course very very soon, later this week. So stay tuned. Stay blessed.